After a break of 7 months, we are back on Good Day Arlington. And listen to the studio audience. I think it's the biggest studio audience we ever had for this show. Should we tell them they had to come? It was mandatory. They're employees, but we're glad to have them here. But we're back for our weekly look at horse racing, sports, current events, food, fashion, life here on NBC Sports Chicago. I am Howard Sudberry, along once again with Alyssa Ali, who has not worked in 7 months, so you're getting back in the groove.
Yeah, I haven't worked for 7 months, Howard.
She's our director of marketing here at Arlington I Kidder, so she's been working full-time all along, but we're glad to have you back, glad to be on the air.
We really are. We're looking forward to a great 2018 season here at Arlington, of course, for Good Day Arlington as well. But Howard, before we move forward into 2018, why don't we take a look back at 2017's Good Day Arlington with some of our great guests.
The one and only Mike Ditka, a big round of applause for the coach. How are you?
You notice they have me sitting down low here, so I look shorter than everybody. That's okay.
You know what?
I'm not offended by that.
He's 6'3". I always complain every week, too, because she always looks taller than me.
Well, I can see that.
Yes.
She's higher.
So we know the pecking order here. It's going downhill like that, down to you. Jose, when a fan meets you, what's the first thing they want to know?
Which race are you going to win?
Which race you want to, and that's an assumption I think that all fans make. They think you know who's going to win the races, right?
Believe me, I wish I did. I get a second mortgage and then I'll be drinking margaritas in Mexico, retiring. I wish it was that simple.
What's it like for you to come to a track when it's a major event day and all these races are going on and seeing it live?
Well, it's like the Super Bowl. I mean, you got big days. Every track has like their signature day, and Arlington does it as good as anybody. And the track, the facility, the perfect day we have today. Like we're talking about the turf course, how good it is. It's special.
Tell me something about Ozzie Guillen that the people out here don't know.
Oh my God! I love to iron my clothes.
Yourself?
I do love it. I
can tell.
You can tell. I don't leave anywhere wrinkle at all. Got a young boy named Gavin Murphy. I like the Irish because I happen to be that. But I like all peoples. You're also your father is of Indian descent. What was his name?
Al Ali.
I have never met a person from India named Al.
Al Naz is his full name.
Al Naz?
Yes.
I like Naz.
I love David Keckner, and I love Nas. I love the nickname. Has anybody called him Nas yet?
No. You could be the first.
No? I definitely will be the first. He's back here training horses again, so Nas is in the house.
Nas is in the house. But Howard, we do a segment on Good Day Arlington called Blinkers Off. In horse racing, if you take blinkers off a horse, they're a little bit more free, if you will. And we're opening it up to you now to have free thoughts flowing out of your mouth, which scares me.
You're going to free me up.
Bit.
I love to be freed up.
But what's on your mind?
Well, I'm going to talk about winning and winning a lot, and that can bring on this thing called expectations, Alyssa. And that can be dangerous for teams and fans. Winning championships, obviously, is really tough to win it all. The Blackhawks won 3 Stanley Cups. Now everybody expects them, especially younger fans, expects them to win every year. The Cubs fell short last year. They're very good this year, but it's better to hope that they win and not expect it. And that brings me to the Derby. You know, Alyssa, there are 25,000 foals that are born, baby horses every year. And when they turn 3 years old, only one can win the Kentucky Derby. That's how hard all of this is. So I think dreaming of victory is great. Expecting it can be a recipe for disappointment. And really, when a team does win a championship, when a horse wins, you should savor it because it might only happen one time in your life.
It might only, and 25,000 are born, but that doesn't even mean they make to training, to the track, to the winner's circle. So expectations, got to keep them a little bit low.
That brings up pressure. There's no question about it. Let's talk about a little bit of sports going on right now. We're into the baseball season. The White Sox are waiting for the day when they have expectations because they got a lot of good young players, but they're going to have a rough ride this year, it looks like. Big night for the Cubs last night. Let's get an ESPN 1000 Sports Center update from Fred Hubner.
The Chicago Cubs bats were alive in the Mile High City as they pounded the Rockies 16-5 in Game 1 of a 3-game series at Coors Field. The number 1 and 2 hitters in the lineup, Albert Almora and Javi Baez, each with 4 hits. Baez with a home run and 4 RBIs. Kyle Schwarber also belted a home run and drove in 4. Kyle Hendricks went 5 innings for the win. The Cubs look for their first 3-game winning streak of the season tonight with Yu Darvish on the hill. News not as good on the south side as the defending World Series champion Houston Astros blanked the White Sox 10-0 last night. Justin Verlander improving to 3-0, allowing just 2 hits over 6 innings. Lucas Giolito against Dallas Keuchel later tonight. In hockey, the Chicago Wolves begin the playoffs against the Rockford Ice Hogs at 7 o'clock at Allstate Arena. And to soccer, where the Chicago Fire travel to the Big Apple. They face the New York Red Bulls a little after 2:30. From the ESPN 1000 Sports Desk, I'm Fred.
All right, and we hope everybody connects with us on social media this year, Alyssa.
Absolutely. We want to hear who you like in the Kentucky Derby. We are aware it's 2 weeks out, so if you're watching right now, tweet us who you think will win the 2018 Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, we tweeted to promote this show, and then somebody responded and put "Poor Howard"
Which is the
with,
most
with a sad
random-
emoji.
It's more like poor Alyssa.
Nice line.
It was good.
I teed you up for that one just
did.
fine. We're going to take a break because we have some great guests today, or at least a great guest. And this portion of Good Day Arlington is brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka, the preferred vodka of Arlington International Racecourse. Try that ultimate Bloody Mary. And coming up, a visit with Eddie Olczyk, a great handicapper, great hockey analyst, and also enjoying the biggest victory of his life. Eddie O is next here on Good Day Arlington.
Yeah, back in 1994, we just won the Cup with the New York Rangers, where the NHL shut down for 5 or 6 months. And people over at the Meadowlands Racetrack, where I had brought the Stanley Cup for that private party to celebrate, Hal Handel, Bruce Garland, Jimmy Gagliano, Chris McErlane, they were all hockey fans, and they knew my passion for the game, and they thought, well, geez, if you're not working as a hockey player, maybe you want to work in the horse racing part. And sure enough, they brought me over to the Meadowlands Racetrack for the thoroughbreds, and I worked as an in-house race analyst for the races at the Meadowlands. I worked with Barbara Foster, who was my partner, and that was my introduction to television, was in horse racing.
Live on NBC Sports Chicago, Howard Sudberry and Alyssa Ali live from 11 to 11:30 every Saturday morning, right here on NBC Sports Chicago from now through the end of our race meet, which is September 22nd when we end, and we begin on May 4th, the day before the Derby.
We're looking forward to it, Howard.
We are, and let's pick it up right now with our friend Eddie Olczyk, who is on the road right now, as he is this time of the year, doing a lot of horse racing, a lot of hockey. And Eddie, thanks for joining us. You're a good friend and always willing to jump on. I want to ask you, first of all, you had a huge score in horse racing this year by winning a handicapping contest. And why don't you tell people about that, how you cashed in really, really big?
Well, Howard and Alyssa, always great to be with you, and appreciate you both having me on today. Yeah, I was back in late January, and I was playing in the Pegasus handicapping tournament down at Gulfstream on Pegasus Day, and it was a tournament. It was one of those where it was kind of a battle to stay above board for the first kind of day and a half, and came down to the last race. And you have all your different rules of making sure that you have to wager a certain amount of money into races and make sure that you qualify. So you had to bet at least $3,000 in the last race, and I was sitting, I think, like 93rd. I was sitting in 93rd place out of 140 players, and I think I had about like $3,800 left, and you had to bet at least $3,000 in the Pegasus. So I thought it was an ice cold gun runner West Coast exacta, but I guess when I was in the tournament, I was looking at it a couple of different ways. One, obviously I don't want to walk out of there with zero. So what was the exacta going to pay, and was the exacta enough to get me into the hunt to possibly win the tournament? And the leaders were sitting around 60-some thousand, and like I said, I was at 3,800. So I was thinking about, well, how do I turn this exacta, which I think is absolutely ice cold at 8-1 with Gunrunner and West Coast? How do I turn that 8-1 shot into a 40 or 50-1 shot for $1? And I really thought that Gunnavera was the horse I was going to kind of play my trifectas around. So I stood up, and I ended up investing probably almost 40% of my bankroll into the trifecta, and I had an $1,100 trifecta that came back about $55. And when you do the math, and I still had a little bit of the exacta, I went from 3,900 to north of 66,000. And again, I didn't know what the leaders were going to do. I didn't know if they were going to play safe. I didn't know if they were, they were going to, hedge a little bit. And I kept hitting refresh on my computer. And next thing you know, I went from being, 93rd or 96th to winning the tournament. So I got lucky, and it was the best medicine I had over the course of the last 7 months with, obviously with my battle with stage 3 colon cancer. And it was a great weekend. And now I'm eligible for a nice little bonus for the Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge coming up at Churchill Downs in November. If somehow I can win that tournament, Gulfstream Park put up a $1 million bonus. So I'm halfway home and take a shot at the $1 million bonus.
Yeah, all that money you already made, you could win $1 million this fall in the Breeders' Cup. Eddie, you made reference to your battle with cancer. You were very public about it because you're trying to educate people about early detection. You found out last August, you got the bad news, then you got the great news in March that your scan was clear. It had to be one of the greatest days of your life. How are you feeling right now?
Well, I feel great, Howard. Yeah, March the 14th at 5:07 p.m. when Dr. Mary Mulcahy down at Northwestern Hospital called me, and obviously a very emotional time, and I was very lucky. I had an incredible team of doctors. My wife, Diana, of almost 30 years coming up in August, was there every step of the way. My kids, my family, my friends there at Arlington, my hockey family, the Blackhawks, checking in on me every day. My great partner, the great Pat Foley, John McDonough, Jay Blanc, Joel Quinville, the entire organization, and the great fans of the city of Chicago, all sports fans. How are you texting me, staying in touch, and just, it meant so much. And it's like I said during the Blackhawks broadcast in March, I just say, we did it. It was because I couldn't have done it by myself, and just very, very lucky that I came out of this cancer-free. And you're right, my mission during this whole battle was to, try to help somebody stay away from what I went through, or to deal with it, or to just, again, if you're not feeling well, it's okay to go see a doctor. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to speak up. And at first I just wanted to kind of hide under a rock. And then I just said, you know what, there's something more here, even going through this, publicly. And when you're in the public eye, it's hard to hide under a rock, because that's what I wanted to do. And but I just felt that without being overbearing, is this hopefully in my lifetime, and it will be a mission for the rest of my life, is that I can keep one person away one person away from going through what I had to, and make people aware. And but I feel really good. I put on a lot of weight, unfortunately, with all the medicine over the course of the 6 or the 7 months, but I've dropped half the weight that I'd gained, so I'm feeling pretty good. So it is a great time of year, getting back into the hockey playoffs. And then in about 9 days, I'll be heading down to Louisville for the Kentucky Derby for the coverage on NBC. So I'm very thankful for all the support, and I would, like I said, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank everybody, because I couldn't have done it by myself.
Well, Eddie, you talked about all of the support in the horse racing world as well, and let's maybe talk a little bit about going into the Kentucky Derby. You talked about going to Churchill Downs here coming up, Derby again Saturday, May 5th. If you can't make it to the Bluegrass State, you might want to come here to Arlington. But let's talk about the Derby. It's 2 weeks out, which means we're looking at contenders. Are your eyes on anybody at all?
You know what, Alyssa? I think what we've had 4 straight years of favorites winning the Kentucky Derby. Mm-hmm. I think that is going to change this year. Now, is it going to be the second choice or third choice? Only time will tell. But it's absolutely wide open. I was talking with Howard a couple of days ago, just kind of looking at the field and the possibilities. Again, I mean, until you see post positions, you have to really kind of just take it for what it is. But I mean, I think there's a lot of speed in this race. I think the one horse that sticks out to me, Alyssa, is Good Magic, trained by Chad Brown. I think 4 for 5 in his career. He just won the Bluegrass at Lexington a couple of weeks ago. Very tactical, a horse that can sit maybe 3, 4, 5 lengths out of it, or can be very, very close to the lead. I don't think he'll be very close to the lead with all the speed in the race. And this is a horse that won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile last year off a wicked pace and came from way out of it. So a very talented horse, and I think he's going to be a square price. I think you might get 7, 8 to 1 on a horse like Good Magic, because Justify is going to get a lot of money. Mendelssohn's going to get a lot of money. Todd Fletcher's horses, all 4. He might have the whole field at some point in his career.
Yeah, he might.
Fletcher's going right. So,
yeah.
I think that value is going to be there, regardless if you like the favorite or not. But Good Magic is a horse that kind of sticks out to me, Alyssa, is that if the Derby was running in a couple of hours from now, I probably would have most of my wagers built around Good Magic and Chad Brown.
All right, Eddie, no, you don't have a lot of time. We're going to take a quick break right now. Coming up on Good Day Arlington, the next section is brought to you by the Daily Herald with home delivery of the most comprehensive local news, and you can get more at dailyherald.com. Eddie O, Part 2, including more on the Derby, coming up next on Good Day Arlington.
Have to invest a lot.
No.
When I hit my pick 6 at Hollywood Park a handful of years ago, I only invested $168.
Mm-hmm.
And
into a pick 6, that's not a huge investment.
No.
Especially with the pot at the end of that rainbow.
Yeah.
That's public knowledge. You want to tell everybody?
Well, yeah, no, I was.
How much you won?
Yeah, I won a half a schmil.
Won a half a schmel, $500,000
on a $168 investment.
$168
So that got me even. Okay.
Half a schmel. I love that line from Eddie Olczyk. Welcome back to Good Day Arlington, live on NBC Sports Chicago with Howard Sudberry, Alyssa Ali, and Eddie Olczyk. Eddie, when I run around town or run around the racetrack, there are 2 things people ask me all the time. When I'm here, who's going to win the next race, which I don't know. They also have asked me in the last 6 or 7 months, how is Eddie doing? How's he feeling? And they also ask me, who's a better handicapper, Eddie Olczyk or you? How do you think I answer it?
I think you say it's like 2 Clydesdales racing down the Madison Street down at the United Center. It's a dead heat. It's a heater. It's another heater.
Yeah, it is. It's a close race.
I beg to differ.
What do you think I say?
I don't know what you. I think you'll give it to Eddie, but secretly you're like, it's obviously me.
No, I don't give it to Eddie. I say that I am.
I thought you were going to play politically correct.
But I want to tell you something. I've never hit a half a schmel on a race like Eddie did. So, hey Eddie, what's your process like? And as you handicap horse races, we love pouring ourselves into it and seeing how the race is going to be run, what the pace is going to be like, and then what's the feeling like for you when you get it right? Can you describe that?
I mean, you do all that homework, as you both know, and people that handicap the races, and when you're right and you put it all together, and look at a lot of it is, I mean, some of it is luck. There's no doubt about it, and a lot of it is skill because you're trying to break it down, and a lot of it too comes down to money management. I think that's the one area I've become way better at, Howard, is the money management aspect of attacking races, or looking at races. And look, if sometimes you got to give what the track gives you. It's like that day, like I said, at the Pegasus, for me, it's like, look, I know Gun Runner's the favorite. I understand that, and I didn't think West Coast was going to be second choice. I really didn't. But sometimes you only can take what the odds are, and sometimes you got to look at what's wrong with finding a when you're very confident, you find an 8-to-1 shot. So if you're willing to invest $1, I mean, what's wrong with getting $8 in a matter of about a minute and 45 seconds? And sometimes people try to hit the grand slam all the time, but it's okay to hit doubles and triples every once in a while. And you get your feet wet and you jump into those big pools. But for me, I think money management has become, for me anyways, has become way better and not miss opportunities that are there. And sometimes, like I said, you have to take what the track gives you. And like I said, you need some luck, but also that skill of the handicapping, of knowing how the track is playing, and certain angles that trainers and jockeys have on particular horses. And when it all comes together, I mean, it's there's no better feeling. There really isn't, especially when you can get it all in the right sequence and cash for some nice coin.
Yeah.
Eddie, do you think that horse racing kind of replaced the adrenaline, if you will, from playing hockey and being such a competitive person, whether you're owning the horses or putting some money down on them?
Yeah, way more pressure owning them, Alyssa. Yeah, I mean, I'm way more worked up when my horses are running than I was when I ever played or coached or when I broadcast, or I mean, even when I'm handicapping. I mean, there's no feeling. I mean, being an owner and having a horse win a $5,000 claimer or a nice stake race. So, but there is that thrill, and yeah, I do get that rush from not playing and being right in the middle of fixing the losing and being elated when you're winning.
Eddie, you had a long playing career in horse racing. As you said, you're an announcer. You've owned horses. You were a head coach in the NHL with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Did you ever think about training or learning about training horses?
Honestly, not really. I mean, I'm become way better at understanding when horses are a little off or looking for specific things and in verbiage and terminology, Howard, over the years, just being around the game, and now obviously have to even more so being on television for NBC. But it's amazing. I mean, the people on the backstretch are the best. I mean, they really are, from the trainers to the grooms people, to the hot walkers, to the vets, to, everybody on the backside. I always enjoy, and that's the one thing I love when I have horses, that I'm able to come on the backside. And I've had a couple horses with Tammy Dominowski over the years, and getting on the backside, or, the late J.R. Smith Sr., when I had horses with him, just to be out there, see the people, see the exercise riders, see some jocks in the morning. That for me is what I really, really enjoy. But I don't think I have the talent to think about being a trader, let alone getting that opportunity to saddle up a horse anyways.
All right, Eddie, we're going to let you go. Thanks for coming on with us. We'll see you soon. And congratulations. You had cancer and you beat it, and that's better than winning in a horse race. So thanks, Eddie.
Howard, appreciate it. Alyssa, talk to you soon. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much. Big round of applause. Olchek. Good Day Arlington continues. We'd like to thank our partners at International Hair Designs in Lake Zurich. International Hair Designs, the hair and makeup artists for Alyssa and I for Good Day Arlington. Check them out at internationalhairdesigns.com, servicing the area since 1979. And up next, moving day. It's a pain. Imagine what it's like to move an entire stable from one track to another. And we are back live on Good Day Arlington from Arlington International Racecourse with Howard Sudberry and Alyssa Ali. Arlington opens this year on Friday, May 4th, the Kentucky Derby. One of our biggest days of the year is Saturday, May 5th. We've been talking about that, and as we get closer to our race meet opening, 71 race days, the horses are starting to arrive, Alyssa.
They are, Howard. Our Arlington backstretch is now open, and if you're wondering how the horses got here, take a look at this. One of the most daunting things a friend can do, ask you to help them move. It's quite a process, but imagine that process with 1,200-pound animals multiple times a year. Arlington's backstretch is now open, which means horses and their connections are moving in. Trainer Larry Rivelli started preparing 2 days before, and moving day was in full swing at 4:30 a.m., beginning with loading in everything a thoroughbred athlete needs.
It is a pretty big deal. A lot goes into taking your whole operation from one place to another. The equipment that we take along with us is obviously everything that a horse you need to train a horse, feed tubs, water buckets, saddles, bridles, blinkers, desks, chairs, fans, you name it, we have it. When you have a lot of horses like we have here, we pretty much have about everything that you could possibly imagine for a thoroughbred racehorse. So that all goes into our planning and our packing, and that's quite an ordeal in its own.
Once the equipment is loaded, it's time for the horses.
Well, what horses do when they're traveling, some of them are good, some of them are bad. They're just like humans. Some people travel well, some people don't travel well. For the most part, most of these horses have shipped before from other venues, like when they were babies, to sales, or from farms to the racetrack. And sometimes they paw at the ground, and sometimes they don't. Most of the time they stand there. They're pretty well behaved. You get the occasional one that won't go on or won't come off.
Well, eventually, all of the horses come off the van and they get comfortable in their new stalls. And for Arlington's multiple-time leading trainer, he's excited to be back.
We are very excited to be back at Arlington, hopefully trying to repeat what we've done the last few years here. Magnificent venue, beautiful place to be. We call it home, and hopefully we can duplicate what we've done the last few years. We are ready.
Larry Rivelli, our leading trainer, never lacking for confidence, and he shouldn't, because he wins a lot of races. And when I look at that, it just reminds me of the beauty of these thoroughbred racehorses.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're really majestic athletes. Let's talk about the Derby. It's 2 weeks away. It's hard to make a pick now, but we will throw something out there.
We're going to try. We asked you at the top of the show for some social media picks, so we did see Laura. She likes Mendelssohn, and we also have John, I believe, to tweet it in, who likes my boy Jack. I am with Laura. I like Mendelssohn a lot. European Invader.
I'll probably change my mind. Right now, I like Good Magic, like Eddie.
All right, well, let's check in with John G. Dooley now for a sneak peek on next week.
Next week on Good Day Arlington, behind the scenes at Churchill Downs as the historic track prepares for the best 2 minutes in sports.
All right, we're getting close to getting ready to go here at Arlington International Racecourse. May 4th, we open on a Friday, and our Kentucky Derby Day is May 5th. Tickets available at arlingtonpark.com. Alyssa, nice being with you. Thanks to Eddie Olczyk, and we hope to see you again next Saturday, 11 o'clock here on NBC Sports Chicago. Thanks for watching.